Thank you, Your Worship. And although I'm rising to speak on item 9, I would echo what Councillor Squire just said. From my own experience, particularly with youth involved in sports, there's been a huge uptake in the youth pass, and certainly it helps those with younger siblings too to have children under 12 riding free. So I echo Councillor Squire's comments on that front. With regard to item 3.9 or item 9, 3.1, the input on the community centre name. I wanted to rise and just share with colleagues how this has arrived here today. Over the last month and a half, I've done community engagement with residents online, in person at a town hall meeting, at numerous community events in and around the ward. Total engagements that I have record of is 487. I'm sure there were other quick phone calls and conversations in rinks and such that I didn't jot down at the time, but it's been a remarkable community conversation, and East Lyons Community Centre is the name that the community has settled on that they want for this facility. And I want colleagues to understand why. It was in 1951 that the East London Lions were officially chartered as a club. And the very first thing those local residents and business leaders did when they came together as a service club was purchase the block of land that today is known as East Lyons Park. They held work parties to clear the land. They continued to fundraise, and after putting in a playground and a baseball diamond with a backstop in their initial plan, in 1953 they added the first swimming pool to the site. They continued their work, and in 1962 through 1964, the club raised the funds that built a pool house and an auditorium on site, and eventually in the 70s gifted the land with all of these facilities in place to the City of London. Without the vision, the commitment to community building, and the ongoing efforts of the East Lyons Club, we would not have the land today that this community centre is being built on. I think it's very important that we recognize the tradition and the hard work that the community has put into this land through the decades as the East Lyons Club. So I'm very proud to have moved the motion for this name at committee. Thank you, Your Worship, for your support, and Councillor Saleh for his. I know he's been engaging constituents as well. This is what the community has told us they want. So colleagues, I really, really encourage you to support this. I'm sure that you will, and I hope that as we continue to build new facilities in the City of London in many neighbourhoods, I know Councillor Morgan is eager for a Northwest Community Centre to be built. I know Councillor Hillier is just chomping at the bit to hear if we get provincial funding to help with the Southeast Community Centre. Engage your constituents and listen to the stories and the history of the neighbourhood when you think about how to name that. So I will just wrap up, if I could, through your worship, with a quick question to staff through you. The community continues, of course, to be eager to see the doors open, and they continue to be a little bit concerned with what they see as a lack of progress from the outside of the building. So I wonder if staff could comment on where we are today with the construction, particularly with winter coming and the need to get a parking lot in. And I know that there are temperature limits to which we can pour hot asphalt to do that. So through you to staff, if we could get a very brief update on our timeline.
Thank you. Mr. McCrae, you're going to try that? Why not? Oh, Mr. Stanford.
Hello.
Even nicer.
Chair. Yes, the progress, we brought a report forward several weeks ago about the progress and the plans for the opening of the centre. It's still planned for the mid-February, I believe, is when we have programming in the Spectrum. As far as the asphalt goes, Mr. McCrae can maybe help me with this, but I was in the roads area for a while. Plants are typically open until the 1st of December, so we do anticipate that there's plenty of time still for parking lot and site grading at that point in time. And the siding that you had questions on earlier is planned in the next couple of weeks. So they've repaired some of the siding that you would have seen, and they're scheduled for the next couple of weeks for the remainder of the siding. A more thorough update, I'd have to get more information as we have regular update meetings. So I'd have to get more information for a more thorough update.
Well, I'm sure glad Mr. Stafford answered that question. Seeing no one else on my, oh, you have a second, sure.
Sorry, just, I want to thank Mr. Stafford for that answer. Hope that the community, I certainly share that with them, and we look forward to that progress. You know, I've been fond of saying that this has been 19 years in the making, because that's how long I could track back from the Argyle Community Association that the push for this started. But it turns out it's really been 70 years in the making, thanks to the East Lions, and I think it's very appropriate that we honor them with this naming.